back on the Game Clock Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Slack, better known as Coach Slack. We have my guy that's always rocking with me, Coach E, Cooker Man, Buckets Up Bench, whatever he won't call him. You
You
know,
already know.
that was my guy to the fullest.
Yeah.
But we're locked and loaded today, everybody. Excuse my voice. Had a great weekend coaching with my sixth grade and ninth grade team. But I do a lot of yelling. I'm a passionate coach, but we got a lot of information that we want to share with you all today. And we truly hope that you all find it beneficial. So E, I know one of the conversations you want to discuss was players, the mentality, and the strategists. Can you kind of hit on that and talk to me about that?
Yes, one of the very first questions that I've been asking players as of late was, uh, "What's your strategy?" And 100% of them did not have a strategy. They didn't even know what that even means. And so, breaking that down and having a conversation with them, I did do my research, and it was saying that you can find if a player has strategy by the consistency of what their actions are. Are they observing the defense and making adjustments? You know, are they communicating and are they talking? And the last one would be like prioritizing things. Like if they have some sense of order in what they're trying to do, because you know, you as a coach, you understand like you have a strategy when you're going into the game, and so trying to transition that and translate that to players is something that I feel would be of value.
And I think one thing I know we've kind of talked about this off camera is that every player has a strategy, right? Or lack one of, right? And so as coaches and trainers, we look at it through their decision making and their reactions, right? What are you subconsciously doing and what are you consciously doing on and off the court? And the first point I want to just kind of hit on, and I want you to kind of reiterate your thoughts on this from a training perspective is like, what are they prioritizing? Right? And so I'll just talk about. I know from a coach's standpoint, are they prioritizing me versus we?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So from a broader perspective, um, are you looking to get yours first versus getting the best shot available for the team every time now? Then collectively, right, are you moving without the ball? Are you
Yeah,
doing a lot of things that's going to create an opportunity for yourself and the team, right?
yeah,
Because team basketball ultimately wins. And so I watch as a coach what they're prioritizing when they're on the court. If
yeah,
every time you catch the ball and your first instinct is to shoot the ball or dribble the ball for yourself, right?
yeah,
That makes to me as a coach a selfish player because by
yeah,
the time you look to make that pass, right, it's too late, and now you're taking a tough shot and you're looking like a bad player. So that's
yeah.
kind of where I look at it from a coaching standpoint when we talk about what they prioritize. What's your thoughts on that from like a trainer slash former player standpoint?
Of what in regards to prioritizing, I look at it from what are you going to be responsible doing every time you step on the basketball court. And we talked about it a little bit off camera when we was discussing. You mentioned shots, and if one way I break it down with the players is there's a pie. There's only a certain amount of shots in this pie, and if you and I are on the same team, I ask them, we split this pie right down. There's 100 shots. You get 50. I get 50. Do you think that's fair? Typically, they say yes right away. Some of them who are competitors will be like, nah. And then I'll ask the follow-up question, well, what do you think? And I say, then I ask them, do they want to win? And they always say they want to win. And I say, well, would you want the person who is more qualified, more capable, who has the advantage shooting a shot? Or would you want it still to be equal? And then, of course, what they answer is they want the more qualified. And I said, then you have to understand that it's not just us two. There's three other people. So now we got to split those shots down. Now, even though I might be the best shooter, because I'm always going to feel like I'm the best shooter on a team, I might not have the advantage. I might have a 7-footer on me. So I'm getting back to the prioritization, but I had to break down that the value that you bring to the team isn't necessarily shooting.
Yeah.
You know, what you are going to do and what's going to be required of all 5 players is to run up and down the court.
Yeah.
So are you prioritizing your ability to run up and down the court? Are you
Yeah.
staying conditioned? Are you running
Yeah.
on every play? Are you know what I'm saying? I know, and I want you to, you know, share some stories or what your thoughts are on just running up and down the court and how it would benefit the team.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you a prime example, right? Um, Coaching over this weekend, I had a team. Uh, we're on a run, right? Playing really good basketball. Guys are running the floor, playing well. But then I had a player who was kind of semi-running,
Yeah.
right? I got a couple players running 90. I'm never going to give you 100%. I'm sorry, right? Couple players running 90, right? But then I have one player who's going 60.
Mm,
And now this player is going 60. He's out in front of the pack, and everybody's expecting him to go 90.
mm,
Well, the first time we turned the ball over because it looks like he just stopped running,
yeah.
right? And so to him, they overthrew the pass. To me, as a coach, if you're actually running, that's 2 points.
Yeah.
Down, get a steal. He's out in transition. He's not sprinting. He's jogging again. They throw the ball to him. The ball hits off his fingertips and he barely catches the ball. I
Dang.
call it timeout. And I scream at him, run the damn floor. Excuse my
Yeah.
language, right? Because what you're not even understanding is by you running the floor, one, you probably have 4 points, right? As a team. Two, if by you running the floor, you create what I call collapsible actions,
Yeah.
right? If you're
Yeah.
sprinting, you're forcing the defense to react to you, whether it's
Yeah.
for yourself or your
Mm,
teammate.
yeah.
By you lollygagging or going half speed, you're making
Mm-hmm.
it easy for people to guard you, right?
Dang.
You're slowing down the spacing from the
Yeah.
guys who are trailing you, and
Yeah.
that's selfish,
It is.
right? And once again, that's where we go to prioritization, right? And then we kind of can just dive into the second topic. I think we're gonna, well, excuse me, the second bullet point of that is just observe where they operate at, right?
Yeah.
We understand strengths and weaknesses, right? And a lot of that is what we're going to call zones of comfort,
Yeah.
right? If you're a right-handed driver, you're comfortable driving right-handed, right? If you are just a three-point shooter or want to be a three-point shooter, you're comfortable at three-point line and three-point line, right? To me, right, when you're looking at those, we'll call the drivers like right or left one side attackers. That's the strategies that they're going to use, right?
Strong hand drivers.
Yeah, strong hand drivers. We'll call the guys who just be three-point shooters, three-point line. They use the spacing strategy, even if they
Yeah.
don't even realize it. Right? I think you said that they use spacing strategy, and then like bigs or the taller players, as we call them. We'll call those guys or anybody that's rolling to the basket or diving to the basket for back doors. We're gonna call them putting rim pressure strategies,
Yeah.
right? And so I want your thoughts on that on those floors. But something I would share as we dive into that is that we did a survey, right? There was a survey, excuse me, that I saw in women's basketball in 2025 that showed that in reference to women's basketball, if I'm not mistaken, I want to be right about this, is that in reference to women's basketball, Division One women's basketball, the paint touch equal to a 0.99%, 0.99 points per possession, right? Whereas no paint touch equaled 0.76 points per possession. And so the difference is, let's say both teams got 65 possessions a game. That's about the average. Without a paint touch, the average points per game would be 46 points per game, which is low. But with a paint touch, the average points per game is 64, right? That's an 18-point difference just by consistently getting paint touches and putting pressure on a defense.
How we would
So,
talk.
go ahead.
I mean, that's how we would talk to play the game of basketball was to attack the basket. I know on your team you have a lot of you have coached them well, and they're going to be rim running and spacing the floor. But if you come out here to Georgia, you're gonna see 5 out folks, it's gonna be positioned as basketball. It's a different brand of basketball, bro.
Yeah.
Right? But I say that I say that because when they begin to play, it depends on the player, in my opinion. Like, and you gotta have paint touches. So
Yeah.
what the way we would train was to get to the paint. And what I learned through my experience of playing basketball is you have to earn that respect on the first play, and you gotta keep letting that person know, and whoever's in front of you know, I'm going by you every single time I get good and ready. And so anytime I get the ball, I'm trying to get to the paint. I literally
Yeah.
was just watching um, the Bulls and the Pistons in '96. It was the year they won it. They were playing the Pistons. They had Lindsey Hunter, Grant Hill, Dumars was still there. And so the Bulls had Ron Harper. So Ron Harper, as we know, if I even mention Ron Harper that he played on the Bulls, most people ain't even gonna know him unless you a basketball head, right?
Yeah.
So that tells you he's not the superstar on the team. But
Yeah.
once they outletted it to him and he pushed the ball, he drove, he pushed it up. Nobody was up on the wing, so nobody was filling that corner. So he had a free right side. So he could drive to the basket, and he tried. Now, he wasn't overly aggressive where he sold himself out to go to the basket. He went until he got contact, turned around, and then rest of the team flowed down. He passed it to him. They got the ball. They swung it around. The ball got to Jordan. You know the attention Jordan gets. They rotated. Harper rotates to the top of the key, catches a kickback, knocks down a three. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the reason why I say that is the type of player that understands that even though I am a tall player or a big player or a short player or the center or whatever, if I get the ball and I'm patient, I try to get to the paint, I don't sell out, I create what you call closable, I like that term, where you said collapsible.
Collapsible moments.
And you create those collapsible moments, you've created leverage for our offense. So now we can move the ball. Now help got to go there. It rotates. Help got to go there. And now we got a higher rated shot. So for me, it depends on the player because some players don't have the skill sets to do that. You know what I'm saying? Some players, so the player has to, if it's a player that can only got one dribble in him, then he needs to take advantage of catching that ball, jump stopping, pass faking, swinging it, or then putting it on the ground with some intent after you create a space and do it. Some players might be able to catch it, go right into a drag dribble, survey the court, get in it real quick, and then get cut off, turn up, go behind their back, and continue to go, but still under control, and then have the composure once that action gets slowed down to back it up and maybe run something. So it's one of those things where if they have a strategy going in, like you have, and you repeat those actions, and you have and you practice and train with intent of constantly getting to the basket and understand we're trying to set the tone early, often, then you have a strategy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And one thing I'll say is that one thing we can do when we're looking at this strategy is we can track their reads and their adjustments, right? You did a great job of alluding to like Ron Harper driving, catching it in transition, noticing the corner was open, which gave him the opportunity to drive with no help side defense, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
with no strong side help. Drove, didn't force a shot, played under control, reverse pivoted and kicked the ball back out. All right. I teach my youth that as well. We're trying to get downhill fast, right? And we don't want to play against set defenses, right? We want you reacting.
Yeah.
And so when we're looking at players and we're looking at strategies, right? We're trying to see like we don't care about the guy that's guarding you,
Yeah.
right? If you can't beat him one on one, you can't play,
You can't go get on the bench.
right?
Thought a bench
What
one said something.
exactly. What we're looking at is how are you reading the second level, right? And are you making the right reads
Yeah.
based off of that? right? And so then also we're reading how consistently are you making the right read,
Yeah.
right? And so this is where we understand when they go into a strategy. Are you recognizing a mismatch, and then are you attacking the mismatch, right? Or are you forcing tough shots up because you didn't get a shot in a while, right? So that's the strategy we're looking at, right?
Yeah.
After a turnover, do you try something different when you come down next time, right? Or are you going to continue to try the same thing and hope for different results, right? You see it. A lot of players, they train with you. They do a lot of training. They get in the game, and instead of them utilizing all of those skills, they
Yeah.
stick to the one that they're comfortable with.
Exactly.
And
That's
and
why
then that gets taken away, and because they're having adjusted, right? Now they're becoming a readable player, which in turn make it difficult to play, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you told me something off camera when we were having a conversation about that is if they never adjust, they're probably just playing by instinct and they're not playing with a strategy,
Yeah.
right? Now both I say aren't bad, but both have a time in the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Instinct is once you get to the point where you understood and you put in so many reps, you're just instinctually adjusting based
Yeah.
off of how you're being played,
Yeah.
right? But your strategy comes from the time and effort that you put in. I go into this game knowing if I go left and he cut me off left, I already know I'm going back right.
Yeah.
Right? I know if I'm a shooter and if I shot fake and he's going up, I'm going to attack him, right? That's my strategy. But if I'm just going in and I'm not really just understanding what to do, I'm kind of guessing, then I'm just kind of playing off my instinct, in which technically is going to have you playing off your strong strengths, which is if you're a right hand driver, like we talked about, you're going to always want to drive right no matter what the circumstance is, right?
Mhm.
And so that's kind of things we talk about. Now, then one of the things I think we can hit on, just like we've talked about earlier, is notice the consistency, right? Strategic players do the same thing for the same reasons, like you say, repeatedly, right? And so, what are you doing consistently? An example I'll do, and then I'll hand it back over to you is like if you're running a pick and roll, and we run a lot of pick and roll in the sixth grade,
Mm.
right? And
That's
it's
the
read
basketball.
and react. And I'll tell you this, my kids, man, they love it because it gives them freedom to read and react, right? And so if they go under the screen, they let it fly, right? If you switch it, we'll go ahead and reject the screen and put pressure on you on the weak side, right? If you're late, we're attacking you off the hip and we're trying to force help. But we practice these things, right? And so for us, we're looking at the consistency and how well we can execute those things, right? And so that's what I look for in terms of consistency from our players. Are you consistently making the right read?
Yeah, I'm. It's the same for me. It comes from a different perspective because I have to look through the player's lens. I have to go back to when I was playing and have to realize what will be required of me from the coach.
Yeah.
And then I remember Coach Jankovic really
Coach Jay.
yeah, shout out Coach Jank, really wanted me to get out of my shell,
Yeah.
and not play as a robot, be a little bit more aggressive, and not be afraid to fail. And I use the term you got to break out the framework to make the framework. It's like you practice something repetitively, but then at some point your instincts, like you said, kick in and you take off. So whenever I'm looking at it from the player's perspective, I'm looking for defense first. Like that, we're gonna, like we talked about it last episode, we're gonna create easy offense for ourselves. That's what we're gonna start off doing. So if I see you not guarding the ball, then and then I see you not guard it again, and that's your consistent pattern, then I know what to expect later on in the game.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It don't take it don't take too much longer. That tells me you're not trying to be in the action. The ball goes up, and you don't get a hand on it. I don't care if you're a point guard or whoever. Like you don't even get in there, and that happens again. It's those type of consistent patterns because if you're on the court and you're doing those things, then you're bringing value to the team. It's only a matter of time the ball comes to you and you knock it down. So when they get in the game, I'm not concerned about if they're going to score. If you didn't come to me because you didn't want to shoot the ball, like you never came to me because you didn't want to shoot the ball. You came to me because you wanted to be better. And if you wanted to be better, and the only way to be better is play better defense. So then once you start understanding what that great defense looks like, then you know how to understand when you're in the game, what is the defender doing consistently against me? So the first time I get the ball, I beat him off the dribble. Is he going to be consistent enough to do that? And then now I have sequences that go based upon, and I learned this from you. I remember when we was doing, the first time I learned how to jump stop, pump fake, pivot, reverse pivot, we was doing those drills, but you stacked them in a way to where if you was playing somebody and you did one and they expected that one, then the next time you show them that one, they believe that one, you got a counter to it and you finished. Well, you utilize that strategy when you're playing it to make sure that you can get to the basket. So when I hear consistency from a player's perspective, I understand the structure of the offense. I understand what's required of me of just being on the team. I have to sprint the court. I have to play defense. I have to get those rebounds. Then once you get that mastered, then you start taking it to another level of how you can start operating as a strategic player on the court, not taking away from what the team does. So that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. And I love that aspect that you're looking at because it's the game within a game.
Yeah.
Right? It's understanding the nuances in playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers.
Yeah.
Right? If I attack you and I know you're trying to cut me off strong side, right, then my instincts and my strategy should be, oh, he's an aggressive defender.
Yeah.
Let me use that as my advantage as I play him throughout this game.
Yes.
Right? For instance, I tell my players, you know he's a shot blocker. If you attack the rim and you know he's waiting for you down there, use your shot fakes, use your footwork, right? Okay, if you get it blocked the first time, I don't expect you to go up again right away the second time,
Yeah.
right? You have to make him think.
Mm-hmm.
And when you force a player to think, that slows down their decision-making skills.
Yeah.
And that's where you win,
Yeah.
right? And so one thing I always share with my group of players is we want to minimize what teams do. We want to make the floor smaller. We want to use our effort and our intensity, right? And our full team dynamic on offense and defense, right? We don't want to have a one team superstar. We don't want to play five out, roll the ball out. Because the reality is, for the youth groups, once you hit about 7th and 8th grade, right, you got to run plays. You got to be able to execute. You got to be able to have a role, right? You got to be able to guard. And you don't decide if you're playing against somebody 13 or 14 or 15 or 16 with all the reclass stuff, right? What you have to do is find your niche, find what you're good at, right? And give max effort in that process, right? I think a lot of times, and this is where we can dive, we're going to probably say this for another episode, but I think basketball has become so dysfunctional in areas because every parent thinks that their kid is going to make it. Everybody thinks that their kid is the next best fifth, sixth, seventh, or eighth grader, right? But nobody really understands what that process looks like for the ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, we lived it. We eat, sleep, it, right? We've been the highs and the lows, and at some point we're gonna tell people our Germany story where we literally got into a fist fight, but when we loved each other so much, we dapped it off and hugged it up. You know what I mean? But but we'll talk about all those things, man. But I think if players go into the game more prepared and have a better strategy, like you stated, right, they'll be better basketball players overall, right? And so some of the points you identified, I'll run through them once again, right? Watch what they prioritize, right? Observe how they operate, right? Tracking their reads and adjustments, and then noticing their consistency, right? And so, I mean, to close it out, one thing I'll say is, and I think you said this earlier, is simplifying the strategy, and that may be, hey, I need you to get a paint touch. Hey, I need you to look for your teammates on a wing, right? What other suggestions would you have?
What I would suggest is boxing out and getting a rebound.
Okay.
That's that. I feel like you have to plan ahead to get a rebound. You the basketball don't just fall in your lap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It don't just fall like you have to. So once you did all the practice, you did all the training. We don't have to overthink it. We have to just get immersed into the game. And one of the ways you get immersed where you're on that frequency is to know. And he's about to shoot the ball. I'm about to go to the basket and get it. Once you get it, God got you.
Yeah. And what's crazy is, man, boxing out is almost a lot harder these days.
Yeah.
Man, the most simplest thing that I tell people, like I made a living boxing out and getting rebounds. Right? I was probably the skinniest guy on the court most of the time, right? Until I became a pro. But one, my mentality, two, the work ethic to ensure if I don't get the rebound, my man don't get the rebound, I've done my job. And I think a lot of parents don't value that because it's not fancy, and it's not going to show up in a highlight. And I think that's kind of the dysfunctional aspect that I want us to get away from. And I would love for us to get back to like creating high value basketball with high quality that in a sense going to help set these kids up to be more successful when it truly matters, right? Having 5, 6 trainers don't matter if 4 of those trainers are not teaching you transferable skills,
Mhm.
right? And then are they actually teaching you the game based off of your skill set,
Mhm.
right? Everybody wants to be a big guard. Don't everybody have the mentality to be a big guard? Don't everybody have the mentality, to be a scorer?
Mhm.
And all that training ain't gonna help if the kid doesn't understand it, you know? And so I think we need to really just get back to saying, hey, here's the role you have now. We're gonna keep working on this. Right? You're not a shooter right now. We're gonna make you a driver until you learn how to become a shooter.
Mhm.
Right? You're not a good ball handler, so your job is 1 or 2 passes. You got to get rid of it no matter what. But we're going
Mhm.
to work on your ball handling so you can add more dribbles to your repertoire, right? And I think we just need to get back to that versus thinking, well, his kid can dribble the ball 7, 8 times. His kid can shoot the ball 10 times. Well, yeah, when we look at the stats of it, his kid shoots better. His kids dribble better. But if we're being honest, you got to be able to receive that constructive criticism on your kid. you know, because as a coach, and I'll be honest with you, if you come to me and you talk to me about your kid, I'm very blunt and I'm very direct. I'm not here for your feelings. I'm here for the truth,
I know you.
right? Like, if your kid isn't a good defender, I'm gonna tell you, you need to work on defense. Don't bring up another kid's name.
No, no.
No, because now you're deflecting. You're not taking accountability for what I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If your kid's shooting bricks every time he shoots threes, I'm gonna tell your kid he can't shoot threes until he's be able to consistently make them look like they're going in. Right? Like that's the reality. If your kid continues to get ripped every time they have the ball,
He
he got to
can't
get
dribble.
off of
He can't be in the game. You blessed to let him in the game. He gotta,
it.
you get ripped.
Right? So man,
You
I
you
mean,
soft as cotton. You need to go sit on the bench.
he
You
said, you
got.
gotta sit on the bench. You gotta sit on the bench. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. As always, we have these great conversations, man. I'm looking forward to episode 3. Um, we may end up getting a guest here soon, man. I know some people are starting to be intrigued about it, right? So let's definitely keep this rolling. We appreciate everybody that tuned in.
Mhm.
Anything you want to say, my guy, before we get out of here?
Yes, I'm about to drop this is the first drop. I thought a bench warmer said something.
Hey, can you read it up? I can't see it all the way. Can you stand up? I thought a bitch woman said that.
I thought
Yes, sir.
I thought
Hey, I'm about to get one ASAP, y'all. That's fine. I thought a bench woman said something. I'm gonna wear that to the next game and tell somebody to talk to me. Man, I'm like, what? Go ahead. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Go ahead, man. Not me. Right? So, oh, man, awesome, man. But, hey, great conversation, man. Looking forward to the next one, man. We always appreciate the support, man. We out.